Here's a segment from a recent Gun Talk radio episode. You can listen to all the Gun Talk radio podcasts however you tune in, or check out guntalk.com for more. As you know, we've watched this for many, many years. California kind of is the petri dish, if you will, for all sorts of toxic gun laws. And when the Supreme Court recently in the Bruin decision basically negated a lot of laws, a lot of challenges to that, California, New York, and a couple of others just thumb their noses at the Supreme Court and says, oh yeah, they didn't thumb their nose, they flipped them the bird is what they did. They said, we're just going to do what we're going to do. We're going to call it something else, but we're still going to do the same thing. And maybe we'll just add some more restrictions to legal gun ownership. And then we'll just see what you guys do. Well, one of the things that they just recently did, California now has a ban on advertising guns in any way that would appeal to minors. So obviously it's a First Amendment issue as much as it is a Second Amendment issue. And what does it mean when something is going to appeal to minors? It's a bloody mess, but there's more to it than that. And the casualties are starting to mount up. So joining me to talk about that, Stephen Gutowski from The Reload. Stephen, thank you for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So out in California, we've got this prohibition now on advertising, messaging to minors on guns in any way that might appeal to them. And I don't know if it was an unintended consequence or maybe it was an intended consequence, but you might just explain what's going on with some of the youth shooting programs there.
Well, effectively, the youth shooting sports in California is shut down right now. There are a number of leagues have closed. Some national leagues have denied access, shut off their websites in California, and it's effectively keeping, the anyone under 18 in California from being able to participate in the shooting sports. And I mean, California is the largest state in the country. It's 38 million people live there, so it's a pretty significant thing.
Well, it is. I think back to Kim Rhodey, who's won 6 Olympic gold medals, and she was the national champion skeet shooter and women's skeet shooter when she was 13 years old. And under this law now in California, they can't even advertise a shoot somewhere, an event where people could go and shoot if it applies to or appeals to minors. You can't even put an ad up for that because that would be punishable, and it's a serious dollar fine, if I remember right.
Yes, it's $25,000 per infraction, and individuals can also sue over violations of this law. So it doesn't even have to be the state that comes after you over it. It could be anyone affected by it. So, if someone has a family is anti-gun and wants to sue over this, they can. And it's extremely broadly written. Is the bigger issue here? Obviously, there's the main issue of whether or not you can even restrict advertising in this way because of the First Amendment implications of that. Mm-hmm. California tried to do this with gun stores a few years back, just to ban all advertising even on the windows of gun stores, to right. mentioning that they sell guns, and that got struck down for First Amendment reasons. And this is a similar idea, but it goes beyond that because it's having this extremely broad effect, and it's keeping kids out of sport, including some of the top prospects in the country for youth shooting, top Olympic prospects like Lola Fitzgerald, who's a 16-year-old skeet shooter, and has won multiple championships, state championships outside of California, and now she can't get a coach. She can't be invited to tournaments outside the state. All the tournaments inside the state have been shut down. So if things don't change soon, it's going to be real bad for her future.
She could get closed out of being able to compete in the Olympics because of this.
Absolutely. She could lose scholarships. She's been getting contacted by college teams for several years now, even though she's only a junior in high school. And now they've stopped talking to her because they're afraid that it's illegal and that they could be fined. So she might lose out on scholarship opportunities.
And nobody wants to go up against California where they're going to say, okay, you had this ad up for 90 days. That's $25,000 per day with that, or however they want to do it. And now you're fighting an unlimited number of dollars from California, and you're trying to do it out of your pocket. So they just go, yeah, the chilling effect on the First Amendment with this, I would think, would be struck down. I've got to assume at this point there's at least one, maybe multiple lawsuits on this.
Yes, there's a lawsuit from the California Rifle and Pistol Association and Second Amendment Foundation, which has a preliminary injunction hearing on the 21st of this month. So things are moving relatively quickly to block this law potentially. Now, one word of caution, though, is that previous advertising ban I mentioned that got struck down, the preliminary injunction for that was denied, and it took 4 years for that law to get struck down. If that happens in this case, the impact on somebody like Lola Fitzgerald is going to be immense.
Oh, it'd be devastating. It basically would take her out of the competitive world. And unless she moves, you could actually have to move out of the state of California. That's
right. Her family's considering doing that. Now, I will say the governor, Newsom, his office disputed how broadly this statute's being interpreted by a lot of leagues at this point. They claim it's only meant for literal advertising of gun sales to children. But obviously, the way it's written, as Alan Gottlieb from the Second Amendment Foundation put it, that's not what it does in practice. There has been some reporting from CNN, CNN's Jake Tapper, that indicates the governor is hoping to amend this law. He hasn't said that publicly, though. So, we just have sources claiming that at this point.
Right. And you've been covering this in The Reload. You might explain what The Reload is.
Sure. The Reload is a sober, serious approach to firearms journalism and analysis. It's an online publication. We send out a free weekly newsletter every Friday that gives a quick roundup of the news across the country and guns. And then, for those who want to dive a bit deeper, like I'm sure a lot of your audience members would, we have a membership. That's how we fund ourselves. It's completely through the members, and that gives you access to more exclusive comments. We got an exclusive interview with the president of CRPA, California Rifle Pistol Association, on Governor Newsom's strategy and this sort of throw everything at the wall strategy that he's taken on. So people can check that out if they're members.
Okay, and it is The Reload, thereload.com.
Absolutely.
There you go. I know you got lots of other stories. I've been looking over there. You're covering a lot of things that are going on, not just in California, but all over the country. And you're doing more in-depth reporting than anybody I know of. Well done, Stephen.
Thank you.